I feel like there's a lot of good in White Center, and you have to come here and experience it. I would say breath of fresh air for me.
I was one of the kids that was able to get out of the neighborhood. A lot of them couldn't get out of the neighborhood. So when I come home, I'm like, man, what's it like? What's it like? Come on, let's go. Just showing them something different, because if you never leave your neighborhood, that's all you know. And the world is so much bigger than the 4 blocks that you live in or that you claim.
This is like grassroots in action. How do we create spaces where BIPOC businesses are able to really be grounded and supported and build their businesses? We're just lucky to be living in a place where people can hear each other. And if you can't, they're willing to make time to sit and talk and build relationships.
I really found a city or a place in this state where I kind of identified with or felt like this is my hometown. When we decided to start this business in White Center, over the years, this kind of became like my hometown. Like, I kind of claim it as my hometown as well now, just because I just feel really identified here, I think. And I like the community. I like the friends that I've made in White Center. I've just always felt really supported by White Center.
One of the things that White Center has still held true to its core is how diverse of a community it is. You see so many different types of races. It's, of course, your Mexicans, Pacific Islanders, Asians, Blacks, whites, Latinos, every different type of culture and race coming together into one space where people can kind of share their own culture. You see a lot of different businesses and a lot of different food types, and then just growing up in that space, like, I had a very diverse group of friends that made me feel really connected to other parts of the world that I had never really got to visit or had a chance to visit just yet.
I feel like White Center is a kind of a place that only people that know about it. It's such a great place that's close to the city, but it's not in the city. It has like a small hometown feel. I feel like this area is a good place to raise a family. It has like a very community-based feel, and I feel like there's a lot of different opportunities here to raise your kids bilingual, lots of culture, it's like still affordable to live here.
The difficulties for me, honestly, was the picture that people painted as White Center. So when I went around and said I'm from White Center, everybody already prejudged me. Everybody already thought that I'm gonna be some type of statistic that they put out there. Everybody thought we were gonna be the same as everybody else that happens. No matter where you go, you're gonna have somebody who's doing something they're not supposed to. But that is not White Center. You can't take one incident and make us all look like that's what we do.
White Center will be known as a place where families thrive. Children have everything they need, and older people, can retire in peace and have, not be worried that they're going to be taxed out of their house.
White Center was one street, Roxbury east and west, and 16th Southwest north and south, and the hot paper was in the middle of all that. They included a lumber yard, Bungie Hardware, a couple of grocery stores, a jeweler. Literally every human being that owned or managed those places was like a charm bracelet of characters that my dad came home talking about.
A lot more like Leave It to Beaver, the television shows of the time.
What I remember about White Center is that growing up here in Seattle, it was always diverse. Park Lake, familiar to everybody, had lots of family, relative that grew up here in this part of the county.
White Center is the first city that all Cambodian people kind of like it. Remember in the 70s, when there's a lot of refugees come in, they come to California. Jerry Brown was the governor of California. They said, no more, I will not accept any more refugees. So Jerry Brown, who's the ex-governor of California, called Washington State. That time, then Evan is the governor of state of Washington. Then he accepted refugees to Seattle, to Washington State. So Washington State created a camp, they call Camp Murray, somewhere in Olympia, somewhere there. So that's what the refugees in Washington State, at that time, number 3 nationwide. So of course the sponsor have to find a place for them to live. Where they can find? Bellevue? No. Kirkland? No. White Center is the place where they can live because the cheap rent. So most Cambodians choose White Center as the place for them to live.
The real story of White Center is a story of resilient small business owners. I think it still is. But in those days, they were fighting all kinds of problems, including being overshadowed by Seattle. What it will take for White Center to continue to survive is that mix of resilience and the capacity to get up when thrown down. It's going to take heroes, individual heroes who believe in their own businesses and don't quit.
And I'm finding my destiny, yeah. It's time I find my way home.
So a lot of them are recent immigrants, and then they come into the shop and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen this type of like bean since I left my hometown. And they're like, is it really from Miahuatlan, for example? And I'm like, yeah, it really comes from there. And they're like, oh my God. So they have to they're like, I have to take this home and taste it to see if it's true.
So I grew up here in White Center. I was, born here and raised here in White Center. And now, of course, my partner Jessica, with her store being here in White Center, I work here and I'm more involved with my community now, helping her out in the day-to-day operations, but then also with a lot of the events that she puts together for White Center to make it more community-driven, to have everyone come together to have a sense of community here in White Center.
I'm very grateful for our Oaxacan customers as well, who continue to support our store over the years, and they recommend us, and I just feel like I'm very happy to be where I am, and I'm very blessed.
So we came to White Center seeking opportunities here. We had no plans to open a store here at all. It wasn't on our radar. We just saw a newspaper saying that the owner of White Center wanted to sell the business because she was having difficulties sustaining it, and my mom was like, let's do it. Let's purchase the store and start the business here, no matter what.
Getting to see people enjoy our food and such, mostly because it's my mom's own technique, so I get happy that everyone enjoys that a lot. We are the authentic because we are Vietnamese born. There's no outside influence, it's just very Vietnamese oriented, so it's just that makes it more special. Like, we don't go out of any other culture, we just stick to our own. And then we want to express that out for everyone to see how pho is and how pho can actually show that to everyone.
A lot of guys come to the club thinking it's about cars and being cool, hanging out and stuff. That's just the surface, and then they actually learn a lot of life lessons. Meaning that, let's say for example, you're somebody at your job, your work, your home, right? You're the man of the house or whatever. But you come into the circle, you're zero. You gotta earn your respect and start all over, right? And I get it.
I first came here in the 90s at the refugees. I still remember that day that I came to the United States with my mom, my brothers and sisters at a young age. I hope White Center is grow. I mean, White Center is expand. More people come in. To doing business here. I think it's a great place.
It's a gift, and it's something I like sharing with the community. As someone who grew up here in White Center, now I live here, I'm raising my own children here, I love giving back to my community. We deserve nice things, we deserve spaces, we deserve art. Art is also for us and for, people that feel intimidated to go into these big museums and art spaces. So that's what Nepantla feels like to me.
I was looking for something that was a little more community oriented, somewhere we could live, work, and play, and was also between where me and my wife both worked, and White Center kind of fit all of the bills. It feels like a place where people are trying to create a community.
I own a business in White Center. It's called Mint Salon and Barbershop, and I have been operating this business in the area for going on 9 years now, and I really love being able to own a business and flourish where I was planted. So I have a a sign that says "Bloom where you're planted," and it's been wonderful. It's obviously very challenging running a business, but every day, you learn and grow, and you do it out of passion, and it just gets easier and better.
My purpose in life is to make a difference and make an impact, honestly. I've seen a lot of youth leaders who didn't kind of know they were already going to be a leader in this community until they became part of this foundation. As in, I never had to go to them and say, hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do that? But just hearing them being able to speak now, or just be able to talk about what White Center means to them, that's a big impact.
I really do enjoy the community and all the places that are around here. In the beginning, I wasn't really keen on I just thought of this place as a job just to get to, and didn't really look around the neighborhood or go to anything. And then when the events started happening, working on the block parties, and when there would be events going on here itself, and talking to other shops, I really like that they reach out to you.
I've been here about 7 years, and I started this concept in Rainier Beach. And I was there for almost 2 years, and then I needed to expand my business and found this beautiful community of White Center, and I've been here ever since. Hawaii's always going to be my home, but I love the people here in White Center. I love all my customers, and I love the community. So on that note, we do the shaka sign, and I would say aloha.
With kind of the rising costs of real estate and commercial space and things like that, just being able to stay in this community that Judy grew up in, that we love, is becoming more difficult. And Seattle in general, right? Folks are being pushed out and displaced, and it's we want this American dream too. We want to have a home. We want to have our small business here, and being able to stay here is the dream. But it's also the hardest part of being in White Center is staying in White Center.
I think the Business Alliance acknowledges that there is a little bit of gentrification going on in White Center, and so kind of helping combat that. Let's not push away businesses that were here already. And I think that's one of our challenges right now is how do we reach out to them, and how do we work together and not necessarily push anybody out, but bring them in. That's our biggest challenge, but that's one of our goals as well. And finding ways for searching for grants or funding to support all the businesses that are here already, because we don't want to lose anybody to the high rents or things like that.
What I know is that for those people who move out from White Center public home, I would say very few move back, and those people just disappear from our community. Of course, before ethnic business, like Cambodian grocery, Vietnamese grocery, they survive because of people who live surrounding area. But if they move out of the area already, where's the customer? Do you think they drive from Kirkland to White Center to go shop at your grocery store? I doubt it. So by having homesick, our community somehow disappeared.
Talking about brokenness, I own it, but I own it in ways that helps affirm who I am as a Samoan woman. And for my children, and for young people to understand that, you are who you are, center who you are, and be proud of it and live in that.
Embrace the communities that are here with the richness that they come with. Every community that is here, and I'm saying ethnic communities, cultural communities, religious communities, business communities, there are multiple communities that make a community. And you have to embrace the richness of each one of those because they're a part of the ecosystem. And when one is off, your ecosystem is off balance, right? And so being able to figure out how to make that cohesive and supportive, and once you do that, then your community, then White Center will thrive.